British players have always been attracted to the Bundesliga, mainly because of the lack of a professional league in Britain. It is far from unusual to fly to Germany and then play an opponent who also lives in London, as in the following game. John Nunn. Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in this video I want to share with you a mega exciting attacking game played by English chess grandmaster John Nunn. His opponent is Scottish chess international master William Pritchett, and the game was played in 1985 at Bundesliga. In this game Nunn had white pieces and he opened up with e4, to which Pritchett answered with Sicilian defense. Knight f3 e6, d4 c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight c6, knight c3, d6. Nunn writes, Black's move order is designed to reach a Scheveningen variation without allowing the Keres attack. Bishop e3, knight f6, bishop c4, a6, queen e2. So white is going for the razor-sharp Velimirovich attack. He's preparing castling queenside, and at the same time this queen is keeping an eye on g4, not allowing knight g4, and white is preparing g4. All in all, white is not losing a precious tempo on playing f3. Queen c7 by black, white castled queenside, knight a5, bishop d3, b5, a3, bishop e7, and there it goes, g4 is on the board. The plans of both players is obvious. White is usually launching a pawn storm on the king side, whilst black is counter-attacking on the queen side. Rook b8, this rook is coming to support the advance of the b pawn, rook h e1, and knight c4. Well, a bit strange looking move. Actually at this point castling king side is better. Instead we see knight c4. Here comes g5, knight d7, and a powerful blow by Nunn, knight f5. Knight f5 sacrifice or knight d5 are very common in typical positions with which white wants to make use of the fact that black's king is still stuck in the center of the board. As Nunn writes, here the sacrifice is particularly effective because black's 13th move, he means knight c4, allows white to clear the d file with gain of tempo by exchanging pieces on c4. At this point black accepted the piece sacrifice, but this is not good. According to Nunn, black is more or less forced to accept the sacrifice, but Stockfish has a different idea. According to Stockfish, at this point knight takes e3 is better. If queen takes e3, then queen c5, and it's okay to give up this pawn on g7. Black can play king f8 followed by h6, and black has an adequate counterplay. But it seems like that this line is very difficult to find over the board, and even Nunn failed to come up with this line in his book. Instead, to knight f5 we see e takes f5. By sacrificing a piece, white managed to free the d5 square for the queenside knight. Queen goes back on d8 and we have e takes f5. White managed to open up the e file and black is in trouble. Here black castled kingside, but this is like entering the bear's den, you know. At this point, making a move like knight d5 is better. Instead we see this normal looking castling kingside. And now let's see what's the problem with it. Here comes queen h5. Actually, instead removing first this knight from c4 and then playing f6 is stronger. In this case white has a crushing attack, but instead we see queen h5. White is now threatening knight takes e7 followed by f6. And at this point Pritchett decided to give back the piece and played knight f6, but it turns out that his choice is wrong, and instead it was better to play bishop f6. The idea is that after g takes f6, black is recapturing with the knight and is attacking white queen, not allowing white to proceed with the attack, I don't know, with bishop takes c4 and then bishop d4. In this case black can put a tough resistance. Instead we see knight f6. White accepted the piece sacrifice, bishop takes f6, bishop takes c4. Yes, that was a bad idea of black to give up that knight, and now comes bishop d4. White also wants to get rid of the last defensive piece and destroy black's kingside. Bishop takes d4, In here there is a very beautiful line which I want to share with you. For example, if you try to keep this dark squared bishop alive and announce a check from g5, then white can play f4. According to Stockfish, this is a preferable line, and in here Stockfish suggests a move like rook b5. But if you play a move like bishop h6, then white can simply munch it, you know. If here, then rook g1 check, and if queen g5, then knight e7 checkmate. Truly a spectacular line, right? But in the game we see bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, rook e8. Well, already at this point it's difficult to find a good continuation for black. Stockfish suggests bishop takes f5, because already the threat is f6, which will allow white to exploit the weaknesses of the dark squares. But once you are giving up that bishop as well, you are getting no chance of surviving, you know. In the game we see rook e8, which steps into another marvelous tactical shot. As we have reached the critical position, please pause the video and try to find white's next move. Ready? Actually, that's pretty simple and at the same time very elegant. And we have knight f6 check, so white is making the second knight sacrifice. If, for example, king f8, actually black accepted the piece sacrifice, but let's take a look. What if king f8, then knight h7 check, and then again knight f6 check. Now if king f8, then queen h8 is mating, and if g takes f6, then rook g4 check, followed by queen h8 checkmate. In the game to knight f6 check, black answered with g takes f6, and there comes rook g4 check, king h8, rook g1. White is now threatening queen takes h7. Black made a desperate bishop takes f5 move, and queen takes f5, rook b8. Actually, Pritchett is already demonstrating high sportsmanship, and he is allowing Nunn to make another spectacular move, and this time Nunn went for a move which we all adore. Yes, he made a queen sacrifice. Queen takes h7 is on the board, which forced a resignation because black king is in a mating net. This is how it goes. White is announcing a checkmate. That's why after this brilliant queen sacrifice, Pritchett capitulated. A very, very beautiful game by John Nunn. First he sacrificed both knights and then the queen and forced a resignation. I hope that you enjoyed this game. Feel free to share with your friends as well. And in the end, let's also solve a chess puzzle. Right now white king is in danger, but luckily it's white to move, and the task is to find the mating line for white. As usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Feel free to check out my early uploads as well. We'll see you in my next video. Take care.